What are we up to now? Is this episode 4, is it? We're doing
5.
5.
Well, it's kind of 4, kind of 5. It's your 4th one. It's my 5th one.
That's right. That's right. She had the interim one.
That's right. That's right. We missed you. It wasn't the same, Jess. It's
no. It couldn't have been the same. The chicken wasn't there.
That's right. We had to have the llama of truth, and it's not quite the same thing.
How are you, Pru? What's happening?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Lots has been happening. As you know, and I'm sure our lovely listeners and viewers would understand, there's a lot of stuff that we can't share. So there's a lot of seeds being sown that we'll reap next winter, kind of like, the reverse of how actual crops work.
Yeah.
But so we're planting lots of seeds, but and there's you have to have everything kind of like lined up before you can kind of finally make the big reveal. But one big thing happened since our last episode. Fibre Feast date was announced. So South Australia has this like annual yarn craft market, and next year it's going to be on the 26th of March. So that's really exciting. That's a Sunday from 10 till 4. The location has been set. We just can't share it yet because we're just waiting for everything to finally kind of reach its final state, and then it'll come out in the next couple of days, maybe even.
So what's Fibre Feast going to be? What is it?
Yeah, so it's about 35 or maybe even up to 45, 49 stalls we can kind of fit. I think we've worked out we can have demonstrations because of where we're hosting it this year, and we're collaborating with some other organizations. There will also be kids rides and a band and a bar, and there's going to be what else? Lots of gift market type, handicrafts type things happening as well.
Awesome.
Like a few soy candles and polymer clay earrings, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So that's really, really exciting, and it's going to be a lot closer to the city, which makes it a lot more accessible for both Adelaide locals and people who are travelling from interstate. And we're hoping to get some stall holders from interstate as well. So it'll be easier for them to find accommodation in the city, and it'll be less than 5Ks for them to come out to the event. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that happened this week. And then also Ginger Yarn Company Grumpy Ginger Yarn Company just sent out their mailer to everyone, letting them know that I'm coming to visit. So I'm coming to Wyong next April. It's going to be so much fun. We've got a weekend of events of different workshops, and then on the Saturday night there's going to be a social knit night. So we're going to have a beautiful meal together. We're going to do some knitting.
Where's this happening again?
Wyong in regional New South Wales.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. Alicia and I have been working together for I don't know, a few weeks now, trying to refine the details, and it's finally come out. We've been able to share that little spring of growth, and then we'll reap that harvest next year. I'm trying to link it with that analogy I had. Anyway, I've got a bunch of workshops as well coming out, virtual sock class that will you'll hear about if you're on my mailing list, some Christmas workshops as well that I'm finalizing. So yeah, lots happening.
Yes, it does sound quite busy. It's a good busy, isn't it? When you've got that, when you're busy with something that you're passionate about, it's energizing more than it is tiring, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. How about you? What's news for you?
Well, like you said, there's things in the works for Yarn Trail Victoria. Can't give a lot of detail because still waiting for stuff to be locked in and conversations with council and all of those sorts of things. But there is movement for the Woolcraft event in May. So that's the last weekend in May here in Ballarat, which is only an hour and a half from Melbourne, everybody. Well accessed by trains. And so Pru will be coming across for that.
Excellent.
And one event we can tell you about that we are definitely going to run is an evening event And it's a slightly odd one, isn't it, Prue? Really, we've not.
Yeah, if some people might find it unusual, they might go, "What's that about?"
What's that all about? Not something you normally pair together. We're trying to pair together something that people wouldn't normally think about. So we are going to have a gin and yarn tasting evening.
Yes.
Ah,
And
so-
this concept is a new concept, yarn tasting. Should I explain it, do you think?
Yes, I think you should.
So
Yeah.
the idea is it's a bit like wine tasting in that, yarn is very much reflective of its terroir, its origin, where it's come from. And it has different features, different aspects that you enjoy when you're knitting with it, when you feel it, when you work it with different needles and in different patterns and textures. And obviously there's different pairings for different yarns. So you might use one yarn for a particular kind of project. So there might be a yarn that's very suited to working into sweaters, but not so good for outerwear or for socks, for argument's sake. So that's part of the the value of a really good sommelier when you're or a cellar door manager when you're doing a wine tasting. They'll talk through that stuff with you. And in this case, it's going to be me talking through that with our participants and drawing on their insights and their experiences around yarn matchings and different fibers and their qualities.
Yeah, cool. So we are going to have we're very much looking forward to this. We're going to have a great time. So you'll be able to taste your different local gins and we're going to taste some local yarns as well. And guide our participants through that. So that's happening late next May. More details, obviously, when we can. And then also, I was going to talk about just a bit about, do we want to do the bits about?
Yeah, do the bit.
Yeah,
do the bit. Yeah, good. I know what you mean because we read each other's minds. It's all good.
Yeah, it seems to work that way. So I was just going to have a quick chat about what's happening with Yarn Trail Victoria as far as retreats go, and sort of thinking about those. I have children and dogs here, everyone. Sorry, they've just come into the room.
Oh, they just want to be part of the fun.
Give me a dog. Give me a dog. You may as well.
We did talk about the dog being a prop because you're going to show off some of your dog blankets.
Yeah, I'm going to show the dog blankets, but this is Baxter, everyone.
Hello, Baxter.
Room. As is the 13-year-old. Well, she's turning 13 tomorrow, and the 9-year-old. They're here fluffing around. You'll have to take them out just for a few more minutes. Girls, okay? Sorry. That's life.
Well, here we go.
The other one.
Oh, who's this?
This is Loki.
Oh, Loki. Oh, you're so cute.
He's very cute. He's a bit naughty, this one, but we love him anyway. Come and get him. Oh no.
That's all right. I can edit it out later. No, I won't.
Don't bother.
I love seeing dogs. We'll probably get more ratings from this one.
Oh, probably. then the cat will come walking past in a minute. No.
Even more. Cats on keyboards. That's a thing. That's an internet sensation.
Thing. It's a real thing. So this is real life, people. We're as authentic as we can be.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk briefly about Yarn Trail Victoria and why that exists. And it's about connecting yarn lovers and crafters with the local farms and the local areas and in regional Victoria. And so because of that, and we've had one retreat up at Harcourt and we didn't get out to a farm, so everything was flooding and it was just we didn't get it out there. But there are some thoughts around how I could actually have different retreats next year and how we can link in with the local areas, the local yarn, local produce, and get that agritourism thing sort of happening. So I'm thinking, and I'd like some feedback, everyone, on these ideas. But I'm thinking,
comment below.
Comment below. Send a Yarn Trail Victoria's on Facebook and Instagram. Follow along. Send a comment. I would really love to hear some thoughts about some of this stuff. So I'm thinking there's a few different types of retreats that could happen next year in different locations around the state. And one of them, with the aim So we've got yarn. We call it yarn camp in Harcourt. We think we talked about that. Okay, let's just go with that.
Yarn camp.
Yarn camp connection. So yarn camp connection is about getting together to connect with people who love doing what you love doing. The knitting and the crochet, that type of stuff. And it's just about that. It's just about small groups of people coming together. Yarn camp learning would be a different experience where there would be learning involved. There would be a workshop as part of a residential retreat as well. And then, and so these learning,
I can see the difference between connection is more about the people that are there and connecting with each other, where there's learning. Obviously there'll still be connection, but the focus is on developing new skills.
Yes, the focus will be on developing a new skill, and connecting with people around learning a new skill. That type of thing quite specifically. Then the other idea is Yarn Camp Deluxe, which is both of those things for a longer retreat, like 3-night retreat, and with a tutor that's there, at least one, maybe 2 tutors that's there for the whole weekend, with optional workshops and a great location where you can connect, learn, and eat.
And is this the one that maybe you do an excursion? Is that the version?
Maybe
for the deluxe?
Yes, for the deluxe, there could be a bit of an excursion if this is something people are interested in. The retreat will be located close to a couple of the farms that are going to feature on the yarn trail, and we could potentially get out to one of those farms to interact with the alpacas or the sheep or whichever.
Oh, that sounds so good. I know that I would sign up for deluxe, but I want to know, as you do too, do people want to go to a camp like that? Would they sign up for it? Or are they just, all about, just want to hang with my mates and knit for the weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. So what is it? And I get the sense that there'll be people who are interested in all different ones, which is why I'm putting it out there that it could be 3 different ways of actually thinking about this. And of course, so we'll just wait and see what people are kind of in for. But I love all of the ideas. Like I love all 3.
Me too. I think that's great.
I can't go, I just want to do one. I'm like, no, I'll give each one a shot.
But this is part of being a knitrepreneur or an entrepreneur, is about trying things and seeing what lands, and then using that insight to inform your work going forward. It's not about having all the answers and, having one thing and you lock it down and that's it.
No, that's exactly right. So I'm looking at one around the end of March, start of April, maybe. Again, don't want to put in any strong things. A deluxe one in the middle of August, perhaps. And I just have to see about placement of other things, because I'd really like, well, to be honest, I'd really like my mum to come, and she's a lawn bowler. So she has told me that between April and October, Jess, is best, because that's when it's not the bowl season. So, and I want mum to come.
Well, we've got to make sure that mum's happy.
Make sure mum's happy.
That sounds like something the chicken of wisdom would say.
Make sure mum's happy. Oh dear. So no, that's not necessarily that's not my thinking, but I also, need to consider location and seasons and when time actually fits.
There is a knitting season for most people. Most people pick up their needles around about, Easter time in Australia, and then they put them down again when daylight saving changes, except of course if they're Stephen West fans, and then of course the MKAL starts after daylight saving starts.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
should I share my MKAL now?
Oh yes.
So spoiler alert, if you don't want to look, it's not really spoiler because I haven't even finished clue 2, and clue 4 dropped tonight. So I'm so behind. But anyway, this is what it's looking like.
Oh, look at those colours.
Isn't it beautiful? So this is all this stuff in the middle here was clue 1. So
right, okay.
And then I finished this bit of clue 2.
Yep.
But part of clue 2 is I have to finish that bit at the end, the cables. Doesn't that look beautiful? This is
Yeah.
yarn dyed by NNK Yarns. So she's
Oh, gorgeous.
Lisa is based in Brisbane. And so, yeah, she had some beautiful kits. My sister and my friend Alex are both using a kit of Lisa's, and there's a whole bunch of other people at the MKAL cast on party that I spied.
Oh, gorgeous.
They had Lisa's kits. So, yeah, it's gorgeous. But yeah, I'm really behind. But as Stephen says, embrace your pace.
Well, I like that.
Isn't that great?
Realistic.
It's not a competition. It's not a race. Embrace your pace.
Embrace your pace. Oh,
Isn't that great?
wonderful.
So wise. He could be chicken of wisdom too.
He could. Might pop that one up. Chicken of wisdom and
Embrace your pace. Yeah. And I think emphasize
everything. Yeah. Your pace. Embrace your pace. Absolutely. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, what have I got to share?
Yeah. I want to see a whip of a FO or a UFO.
Well, as we know at the moment, I'm not knitting because of that whole elbow injury, which seems to be, I don't know, some days it's awful and other days it's not that painful. So
yes, maybe you should come to New York with me because I'm going to Carson Demmer's his lectures, and we were talking about him just last week, you know. Yeah, I just had to drop it in there. Then I'm going to
then, you know, possibly. Yeah. Oh gosh, it would be wonderful. Okay, so I'm walking around thinking, oh, what's my whip? I don't have a whip at the moment, but I do have a couch that, well, you met the dogs before. So the dogs adore some knitted blankets that I've created.
Oh, who doesn't adore a knitted blanket?
Yeah. And these are just nice square knee blankets, just with a nice little yarn over sort of border, just a yarn over border. And this particular one was designed by my 9-year-old who, you know, she just got into the cupboard and she said, I like these colours, Mum. And so she just put all of these things of yarn. I'm like, right, okay, I'll do that one and I'll do that one. And so it's just turned out to be this mould. So, you know, it's just 2 threads of whatever, just held together. Just a garter stitch, and it just comes up really nicely.
Like really relaxing to knit as well.
Oh, so easy to knit on size 8s. You know, you just sit there and it's just easy.
So
and it's just, you know, good TV knitting. And there's a bit of a sparkle in that one. You probably can't see it on the camera, but there's a sparkly one there. And so, you know, the back of my couch is covered now in things that I've used up my stash for.
Oh, I like it though.
These blankets yeah, and they're really easy. They're fairly quick, and you know they just use up. I just love how they use up stuff. You know, you just get a whole bunch of stuff there, and you don't want to, and it's just colourful. So now the back of my couch is covered in colour, which is great. But I like this. There's this one here too. So all of those 3.
How many do you have there? Oh my gosh. So does everyone get a blanket when they come over, or are they covered in dog hair?
Everyone gets a blanket.
Yeah.
They're willing to be covered in dog hair. So because then I might
not be able to engulf myself in those blankets when I come to stay, Jess, because I'll get itchy.
I understand. That's okay. But then I liked this one I did here with because this was something new for me. I'm not as an experienced knitter as Pru, but you know, still doing new things. Like just these triangles, like that, and they're not separate pieces sewn together. It's just picking up the stitches alongside the triangle and knitting modular. The next one. Is that what you call it? Yeah.
Or is it like you pick up and knit out, and then you pick up and knit out, and then you pick up and knit out just one seam? Yeah.
One seam. So that was just another So they're just
because it looks kind of a bit like Intarsia, like you could create the same effect from Intarsia, but
it wasn't
way easier. That approach is way easier.
Yeah. That's been fine. So that's just what I've got, something I've worked on, because I don't have something to say that I'm doing right now.
Oh, but is the elbow getting better?
Look, slowly. I've just got to keep doing my exercises. And I think, like I said last week, I've got putty on my desk at work that I do that with. I've got a wine bottle a full bottle of wine sitting on my kitchen bench, not to drink, but to remind myself to grab it and put it over the bench edge and lift up and, do sort of stuff.
I tend to do this in a
Yeah.
more, that looked wrong, but drinking wine.
Yeah. No, I'm using it as an exercise thingy, like a weight, oh goodness me, it's so frustrating, but yeah, but it's good. It's okay. I'll get there, and then by next year, hopefully, I'll be knitting again, and
Yes,
just increasing
all these great retreats and experiences you want to be able to enjoy with everyone else.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's just it's out there, and I love knitting, and it's just it's so relaxing, and it's just so lovely to learn a new skill and produce something. It's all about the process. It's not about the product. I'm definitely missing the process of just thinking about matching colors, or thinking about I just love watching the magic of my fingers producing something. It's a little bit magical. Oh wow, I'm just weaving this thing together. Oh wow, look what I get. Oh wow, I haven't thought about the 500 million things I've got to do this week.
That's right. Yeah, you can just park all of that for whatever time. Though I have to say, it is sometimes a temptation to just do another row and forget about that to-do list for another 5, 10, 20 minutes.
5, 10 hours, that's fine. Or if you've got an audio book on at the same time, I love listening to audiobooks, while I'm knitting. So I'll just
me too.
Just another chapter. That'll be fun.
Why not? Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly right. Now, should we hear from the Chicken of Wisdom?
Oh, before we do that, what about books? You mentioned books.
Oh, books, yes.
Yeah, let's see your book.
Hey, you go.
Should I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, my book's a bit unusual though, because it's not a published book. This is a notebook made of Tasmanian oak. So this beautiful design, this whole cover is made from Tasmanian oak by Knits Design in Hobart. And it's just got inside a lovely little notebook. So it's also, you can replace the notebook easily.
Yeah, cool.
And keep using it. So it's a beautiful notebook. And this was sent to me by one of my students who'd come along to some of my workshops here in Adelaide and had to move to Hobart. And I said, don't worry, there's a beautiful community there. I'll put you in touch with Bomb Yarns and some of the other amazing people that I've met there through teaching at retreats and things. And I know that you're going to have a great time. So she sent me that as a thank you. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, it's a wonderful gift. Yeah.
It made me cry.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And, lovely when the thought gets, gets passed through.
But isn't that a nice thing that that anywhere you go, you can rely on our knitting community to receive a new person into the community and help them to feel like they belong.
Absolutely. That's pretty
so thank you, Hobart knitting community. You're beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so my book here this week is very handy, especially if you're a beginner, but for anything really. It's called Knit Stitch, and it's 50 knit and purl patterns. It's from Kristen. I can't remember her surname. Oh, it's down here. Kristen McDonald from Studio Knit. She has a YouTube channel, quite a good YouTube channel.
All right, I might put the link in there.
Yep, especially good for beginners. But this is great because it's got so many different it's just knit purl repeats, and there's 2 row repeats, 4 rows, 6 row, etc.
That's so meditative. That's great.
12.
Maybe you're going to use it for your next blanket.
Very possibly. That's what I wanted to do, one of each thing in here and just put them all together in a. But anyway, it's got these just lovely, very clear,
I like that.
Very, very clear. In the flat, in the round, bit of a chart, bit of an example, and it's just really lovely.
I like the photography too.
Yeah, and I think look, we've got 18 to 28 row repeats. Wonderful. But I just think it's a really lovely, accessible book when you are starting out or just need new ideas, because often, I've got another stitch dictionary, which is huge and just overwhelming.
You're right.
You just think, okay, no, I'll just stick with something out of here because they all look gorgeous, and it's it just feels very doable. It looks and feels very doable. So good on you, Kristen. That's a wonderful approach.
Oh, that's a good recommendation. Thanks for that, Jess.
No worries.
Yay. Well, before we go to a chicken of wisdom, sorry, I'm extending out this episode because I just want to tell everyone about my
do that, of course.
My shawl. So this is the New York shawl. Can you see it? It's like got this amazing.
So around the edge, is that a green or a teal?
It's like a teal, and this is in a merino linen blend. And then there's like can you see there's an I-cord
absolutely
off, but it's two colors.
Yeah.
So this is Wishbone yarn, 3 colors of Wishbone yarn. And I actually had Susan Summers, who's the designer of New York, help me select the colors that I would use for my shawl when I was in the marketplace at Vogue Knitting Live in 2020. So yeah,
very appropriate that you're
all sorts of people in the marketplace at Vogue Knitting Live. So and I'll be there as an attendee in February next year.
Excellent. So you'll have to be doing lots of videoing and hopefully.
Oh yeah, there's going to be lots of field trips and like probably extra podcast episodes, I think. Yeah. We'll have to do a live, you and me as well. What do you reckon?
Yes, we will have to do a live. Yeah, absolutely. When was it? February?
February, yeah. So it's from the 9th to the 12th of February, the actual event. But I'm heading over early, and I'm thinking that I'm going to use a few days before, including my birthday on the 8th of February, to go visit a bunch of yarn stores in and around New York. So maybe even Brooklyn. Maybe I'll get a train out to Boston. I don't know. People tell me, is that doable, or am I crazy? Because I've been to Pearl Soho, but that was like 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years ago. So I haven't been to Brooklyn General Store. There's a whole bunch of other places that are supposed to be amazing. I'd even be happy to do an off-Broadway type, workshop if anyone wanted me to. I mean, I can't teach at Vogue Knitting Live. They're already fully committed with amazing teachers. But, I'm happy to do one for a local yarn store in New York. Just saying.
Why not?
Why not?
Let them know, darling. Let them know you're coming.
Yeah, that's it.
Why not?
Pearl Soho, if you're watching, I'll come teach.
Yeah.
No, but seriously.
Yeah. No, she would, everyone. It's fine.
I totally would.
So whatever connections you've
I'd be
got,
honoured.
just drop them into the comments.
Please.
And we'll work on that.
Oh, and if anyone wants to hang for my birthday, I'm keen for that too. I've got to share the cake with someone, otherwise, I won't fit into my jeans.
It's true. Oh, the problems of life.
Got the problem that already, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Wonderful.
Anyway, let's go to the chicken of wisdom now.
Okay. So the chicken does say this. The chicken says,
hello,
chicken of wisdom. She says hello, and she says this. She says, the chicken of wisdom says, learn a new skill, become obsessed, share the joy.
Oh,
hashtag.
So profound. Oh,
learn a new skill, become obsessed, share the joy. And I think, honestly, that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for coming along on our journey of our obsession and sharing the joy of our skills.
We've covered a lot of ground tonight. So hopefully you've enjoyed some of the chat, and you've got some opinions and some suggestions to share with us. Pop me in the comments below, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.